It's a job no one would envy.
We do a broad spectrum of severe cleanups, for sure. Our R5 is probably an average Joe's 10 on a severity chart, no doubt about it.
They walk into scenes few could ever conceive of.
What's the worst thing you can imagine? Honestly, is what I asked them. What's the worst thing you can imagine? And they'll tell me, shotgun suicide. And I'll say, okay, yeah, shotgun suicide. Now, the person hadn't been found for 6 weeks. They lived in filth. They were a junkie. They had an animal that was eating them for 6 weeks. That animal died. And then we get called. That might be the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm going to be going through all the papers, looking for all the financial.
The job has work hazards like no other.
You know what to do.
Dismembered body parts, toxic bodily fluids.
Ooh, body soil.
I think people find a lot of things difficult on jobs, but primarily is exactly what you would think. Blood, skull, brain, clumps of hair, maggots, all the insects is very shocking.
For the crime scene cleaners, nausea is just part of the job.
I have to get it done. I mean, there's not much of a choice. It's my rep on the line. So I'm gonna get it done, even if I'm puking in my respirator while I do it.
They face gross situations with a black sense of humor.
You say maggots, I say money.
This is a job where you can either deal with it or you can't. You have to be strong of mind. I mean, most people think we're crass because we'll joke about it, but you have to. I mean, there are coping mechanisms that you're equipped with, and you either cope or you melt.
This is a service few want to know about until they need it most.
It's one of those where you don't want to think about it, you don't want to know about it unless little Johnny just blew his brains out in your living room. And then you want us there yesterday.
Four-year veteran Sean Clark faces a daunting task. A man who leapt in front of a speeding train. Sean's job is to rid the train of every piece of flesh, every hair, every drop of body fluid. He combs every inch of the undercarriage, looking for remains.
Apparently, this is where our person dove in front of the train. So they dove in between two cars as they were traveling about 50 miles an hour in between stations. And so there's a tendency for people to explode when they get underneath a train. And so there'll be a lot of cast off. Check this coupler here. Body parts have a tendency to get stuck in between them. Hands and that sort of thing. It's not uncommon to find actual pieces of finger and ears, lips with nose and mustache on them.